and welcome to another episode of the Arseholics. I'm Mize. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. We'd really appreciate you guys supporting the channel. If you enjoy the content, smash that thumbs up button and share us with any other Arsenal fans that you think will enjoy hearing what we've got to say. Boys, how are we doing? Raj, Aaron, and Nero?
Good. It's nice to do one of these on the whistles when we haven't actually lost or got a bad result. This is, I think, the first one that we've done on the whistle that we won, right?
I think so. Yeah. So a nice 3-0 away win at bottom of the table, Sheffield United. One that none of us actually predicted or expected us to come away with. I think we all predicted draws. So nice win in the league. First clean sheet in a long time. I think was it 14 games? Was it something like that? 14 games having conceded.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, nice to get a clean sheet. I mean, let's just get straight into it then. Quite a changed team lineup, really. Number of changes. So we had Xhaka coming in at left back. It was an interesting one because I think we all thought, or three of us thought Saka would be left back.
Credit where it's due. I called it.
You did. Well done.
I was just about to give you credit. Okay, yeah.
All right. Now I look like an idiot.
Aaron, you did call that, to be fair. Xhaka left back. So Ceballos playing central. Well, Ceballos playing, interestingly, where we guess we can get onto. Starts for Martinelli, which we were all quite happy about. And, I guess a front four of Pepe, Saka, Martinelli, and Lacazette. And Callum Chambers back in at right back. And Gabriel was dropped, wasn't he? Or rested for Pablo Mari. So, a number of changes for this one. In terms of the game, guys, we better just get straight into how you guys thought the game went and just the general performance.
I think we're all so polite, waiting for one another.
All right, I'll go straight to Aaron.
Cool. I think it was compared to the last two performances, anything was going to be better. Like Liverpool last week was. No, it's impossible to play any worse than we did against Liverpool, I think. And then Thursday, whilst we didn't play badly, we didn't play well either. And I think the biggest change there was that Willian wasn't on the pitch. And it just means that we have so much more energy. We have so much more.
It's like everything he said sounded like really measured. It was really like, and then all of a sudden you're just like anti-Willian agenda, bang.
Anti-Willian agenda when it's the agenda.
Nero's fuming over there.
Right, take. Okay. It's just forget Willian, but whoever it is, we put in players who can run around and chase the ball and make things happen with their energy and their work rate. And funnily enough, Lacazette looked completely transformed compared to how he played on Thursday. And he was, he actually ran around quite a bit. And I thought he had a really good game. His goals aside, I thought his work rate was pretty good. He dropped deep when he had to, but he also tried to push up and offer something in the box as well. So, I think really good. It just shows a difference when you have players who do run, who do make impact, and who are willing to put a shift in.
Yeah, and I think when we talk about the evolution of Arsenal, and we've always been saying it's a work in progress, etc. I mean, wherever you are in that process, if you're not going to be able to beat a team like Sheffield United, who literally have no manager, literally have no identity right now, have no plan, I mean, it's going to be trouble, isn't it? But like Sarah, and I think one of the good features about us today was just it felt like everyone had a kick up the backside, and it felt like everyone was just having a bit of urgency that against, for example, Prague, we only showed after about 60 minutes. And this was kind of from kickoff, we showed that. So that was just really encouraging.
Yeah. Do you guys think it was anything to do with the fact that it was a no pressure league game against a poor side? They've been poor this season. They were poor against today, Sheffield United. Do you guys think that it's just the team have kind of got into this mentality of, when the pressure's off, we can turn up and play. Whereas, I was going to refer to the Liverpool game, and we've generally been okay in the bigger games this season. But do you know what I mean? Kind of like the Prague game was the one where they really needed to put in the performance at home, get the goals, as we talked about, and they didn't do that. Do you think there was a case of that? Maybe.
I mean, Nero, you thought, you mentioned when we were talking before, right, about was it nerves in Prague that perhaps prevented us from playing like this? I mean, what did you think?
I think I mentioned as well. I think the fact that Martinelli was sort of starting out wide today, I think he brings a lot of energy to his performance, and I think he's been like that every time he's played. He's always running around and he's always giving 100%. And I'm not sure if maybe sort of part of that rubbed off on sort of all the other players as well, and sort of got everyone to sort of raise their game a bit more. And I think in terms of, I've always said like this Arsenal team right now, like mentality wise, I don't think they are the strongest. Even like that last 10 minutes against Spurs when we were under pressure, they sort of, they couldn't handle it. And maybe the Europa League game as well, when there's something to play for, I'm not sure if we are, mentally strong enough to cope with that pressure. So only we'll see if we can back this performance with another great performance on Thursday, then obviously we'll have a sort of better idea on if it is the pressure or what else caused the performance today.
Yeah, I like to think that maybe like Arteta might have grown himself over the last week, and we know that he's a work in progress himself, and I'm a big fan of his, but still, I believe he has to grow as a manager. And I do wonder whether the penny dropped against Prague, where he just looked at it and thought, am I being too conservative? Am I being too cautious? Am I not filling these guys with the confidence they need to believe in their own abilities from kickoff? And I think what I liked about today's performance was it felt like we were really believing in our own abilities as footballers. Like the players actually looked like they were willing to inspire and they were willing to do things that made the most of their own personal abilities. And it just felt like we were playing with a lot more freedom. And I wonder if that is the manager. I wonder, like Nero, I wonder if it wasn't necessarily a mentality thing from the players. It was more actually the manager almost turning around and saying, guys, do you know what, as a collective, maybe we need to stop being so nervous, and maybe actually we as a collective, and I'm going to push this down on you as your leader, maybe we need to just go and believe in ourselves a little bit more.
Yeah. But I don't know, when it comes to pressure, I don't know if it's as easy as just, telling someone to, deal with it.
Yeah.
Because against like Wolves, for example, that's like for last time I remember us sort of starting a game so well, sort of first half, and then, obviously questions about the quality of the opposition today is we shouldn't, get too carried away with the win today, or, say, he's turned it around or whatnot. We can only, let's wait till Thursday before we can properly, judge to see if it is, a pressure thing that they have turned around. Because Thursday will be a massive, massive test, I think, away from home as well. It won't be easy.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Sheffield United were rubbish. There's no
trash.
No other way to describe it. They were really, really bad. I'm just surprised how far they've fallen from their heights of last season. But it's a league. We've got to play all the teams twice, and it was our turn to beat them. So all good for us.
We did a double, right, over them, I think, this season.
Yeah, we did. We beat them.
And achievements of the season, done the double.
Might be the only team we've beaten home and away. Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Raj, you just touched on it as well, because I thought it was quite interesting because about Arteta's kind of setup for this game, because we've we've just called out how cautious he's been, right? Just generally, his kind of short career as a manager, that's how his approach has tended to be. And we've obviously got very, very talented players, albeit quite inconsistent ones. But I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter, James Benge tweeted a image of basically average positions of our players. I don't know if any of you guys saw this.
No,
I don't know at what point he did it a couple of times through the game. So I don't know at what point this was taken. I think it was some point during the first half, maybe. But I'll have to send it to you guys. But basically, you've got Mari and Holding and Xhaka at the back. So you've got three at the back. Then you've got this no one in midfield. And then you've got on the left-hand side, you've got like Ceballos, Laka and Saka, I think, or Partey, I think it was. I can't remember. And then on the other side, you've got the other three players. So you've literally got this 4-0-6 formation. And I think that a reason I mention it is just because obviously it's completely unorthodox for Arteta, and yeah, maybe he looked at the opposition and thought we can definitely go at them today. And it was a big improvement. Like you guys said, we started the game a lot better. And, in the first half, I noticed I was watching the Spurs United game or saw some of it. And I was saying to you guys, like, one of the disappointing things about watching us is the build-up play is so kind of turgid and slow compared to, like, you saw United and the Spurs. It's very quick passing. People always running off the ball. They're trying to get into space. It's quite good to watch. It's quite refreshing to watch. And today we actually saw a little bit of that, that kind of passing, and that kind of ties in nicely to the first goal, really, because it was a really, really good goal from Arsenal's perspective. It was a really well worked goal. The build-up play around the edge of the box, and then Lacazette finishing. What were your guys' thoughts on the goal?
Yeah, I agree. It was a really good goal. And Myers, to go back to your point, so I thought Ceballos also had a really good game in it, and it helps when we get that version of Ceballos where he plays well, plays progressive passes, plays it quickly, doesn't give the ball away. And I did notice every time Martinelli cut inside, it was usually Ceballos making the overlapping run on the outside. So he clearly was under instruction to try and do something from an attacking point of view. And it seems that because of that instruction, he seemed to find himself in the box there, and he played a really good flick on to Lacazette, and he took it really well, and fair play to him after missing a couple of chances on Thursday. It was nice to see him put it away.
How much of it, because you mentioned a good point, it is the version of Ceballos that we want to see, right? But in terms of the system, and Muzzy sort of touched on it, actually it looked like at times we were playing three at the back with Xhaka as the left-sided centre-back. And weirdly, it kind of looked like Ceballos was taking up this left wing-back position quite often. How much do you think that we saw such a good version of Ceballos because he was in this kind of, I don't know, new position? And how much of it do you think is because at the end of the day, we're only going to get this version of Dani Ceballos against pretty average to poor teams. And when it comes to better teams, he's not going to be able to do this level of performance.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's the latter, really, because it was last season, wasn't it, when his first season with us, that Burnley game is the game that, stands out for him as the game that we all thought he was going to be this kind of amazing creative midfielder, dictates the play and all of that. And clearly he's got the ability to do that. But, if you're talking about teams like Burnley and Sheffield United, no offense to them, he's not doing it in the bigger games against the bigger teams. And he's had opportunities to do that. So I think it's definitely the latter, Raj. I just don't think he's quite at the level that we really need, or hopefully, the level that we aspire to be. And it's interesting about that kind of where he found himself in today's game, because I was thinking, and the commentators mentioned it as well, Xhaka playing in a position he's not familiar with or hasn't played that often, and would Sheffield United look to expose that. And I thought maybe he's shifting over to that side as a little bit of protection, almost like just like an extra body, so they don't shift the play over to there and try and get 2-on-1 against Xhaka. But obviously that didn't really transpire that way, because obviously we dominated the game. But yeah, it was a good first half overall. Good to go in 1-0. It was a really lovely goal, though, wasn't it? I know, Aaron, and you touched on it, but it was kind of like, I was thinking where we haven't seen that in this Arteta team. Very, very rarely have we seen kind of build up play, one touch. Because as soon as it gets to Lacazette, I think from there it's all one touch, isn't it? Lacazette one touch to Saka to Ceballos, back to Saka, and he finishes. So yeah, really lovely goal.
It's Wenger ball, wasn't it?
Yeah,
they kept saying, was it Wenger will be at home with his red wine watching that game? Reminded me of that Wilshere goal that he scored. Obviously, the finish, but just the way interaction.
And it was interesting, Lacazette's post-match, and he basically said, look, when we play compact teams like that, we have to score goals like that more. And so I wonder whether it's a case where they did talk before the game about the fact that we were likely to face a team that were very compact at the back, and we were likely therefore to have to score goals relying on a lot of one-touch intricacy in that area. And I guess to the point about Ceballos, fine, he was occupying this kind of like weird left-sided role a lot of the time, but actually in that situation he found himself almost right in this number 10 almost slot, didn't he? And he was right at the heart of it, and we got the the level of kind of intricacy that we needed, and that flick was awesome, and the finish was great, wasn't it? It was like a really, really, really solid finish.
It was nice to see him score that after the miss on Thursday, because he got into that position. You kind of think, is that miss going to be in his mind? And obviously he put it away, and yeah, it was. I think, well, it's just nice that imagine if he'd missed that one as well. You know, really, really affected his confidence. Okay, yeah. So yeah, second half, very much. I think the second half started a bit more even. I think Sheffield United maybe came out with a bit more intent, but the game kind of fell into a very similar sort of pattern. We didn't have as many chances, I guess you could say. Maybe dominance in the final third wasn't quite there, but there was this sort of period of towards I think around the 70th minute, 65th, 70th minute. So Martinelli went down with that knee injury and he looked to be struggling. Then Saka went down with a thigh injury. Not really sure what that was. It looked like it was a collision. So like he got kneed. It was an impact injury, so hopefully just a dead leg, and he'll be over that in a couple of days. But then Martinelli, we all thought, excuse me, we all thought he was going to be coming off, and then he ends up scoring the goal. Pepe, really good work from Pepe. I thought, he intercepted the pass that Sheffield United were trying to play out from the back, and does what he always does, tries to bend it with his left foot into that far corner. Pretty rubbish keeping, would you say, and tapping for Martinelli?
At the
Yeah,
top,
I don't think it was that bad a save. I thought it was actually a really good shot by Pepe, and the keeper just had no choice because he was at full stretch and he just about managed to get to it. If he doesn't, Pepe scores, and it just so happens that at full stretch, Martinelli's there because he's committed, he's positive, he's anticipating something, and he's in the right place at the right time. But I think you're right, two really good pieces of brilliance there. One from Pepe because a really good bit of skill to get the shot away, and it's a really good shot. And if he doesn't, if he puts it any closer to the keeper, I could think the keeper probably deals with it and can parry it to safety. But because it's such a good shot, all the keeper can do at full stretch is just parry it out. And then Martinelli, because he's anticipated and because he's in the box, has to tap in.
I think Arteta said after in his post-match that I think it was an ankle. I think he rolled over on his ankle. I think that's what his injury was. But it looks like he looked like he was going to come off for Willian before Saka went down. So lucky for him, especially that he managed to sort of stay on that pitch. And I'm sure that goal will sort of do him a world of good, give him a lot of confidence.
What were your thoughts? Obviously, when he went down, and he didn't look very comfortable. He was down for a while, wasn't he? Then he ended up hobbling off. And then he seemed to just suddenly kind of come back onto the pitch really quickly. I was thinking, just take him off. Just take him off. We've got a massive game on Thursday, massive games coming up, potentially, if we carry on in the Europa League. He's been injured for so long, and he came back and then he got injured again in the warm-up against whoever it was. Just take him off. Why are we risking it? And then even after... And I think he comes back on, and then I think Mari just plays this ball over the top, which he has to sprint onto. And Martinelli being Martinelli, he's not gonna not run for it. So he sprints full throttle for it, and then he doesn't reach it. And then they show a close up of his face, and he just doesn't look comfortable. You can see he's wincing, or he's just something's not quite right. So I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, if they say in the next few days that he's going to be out. He's going to be
He looked like he limped off to me when he was walking off. I think he hobbled off.
It's baffling. It's just weird decisions. This is in the sort of 70-something minute, 70th minute.
Yeah.
Go on, Raj.
No, I actually I agree with everything you guys have said. The only thing that I thought was weird on top of that was at the end of the game in Arteta's comments, and he mentioned I think his ankle. Arteta didn't look concerned about it at all, though, because he basically just said, he's a strong boy. Right. But against Saka, but he did, right? And against Saka, he looked a bit more concerned. He was a bit like, I don't know. We have to wait. I don't know what it is. But with Martinelli, he was like, yeah, whatever. He's a strong boy. So either it is completely fine, or Arteta's being a massive idiot and has completely underplayed this and does not understand his player. But just the one thing I want to add to his goal, which this is a really small thing, is I get really annoyed when players can't do simple things or choose to not do simple things with their weaker foot. And what I really liked about Martinelli's goal was that he just hit it with his left foot, which was the natural foot where the angle of the ball was coming in. It was natural for him to hit it with his left foot. I don't think he is. He's right-footed.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We should know.
That's the thing. I don't think he's left-footed. No.
Someone Google it quickly.
I'm pretty certain he's right-footed.
I thought he's right-footed, yeah.
That's why in the first half, I think it was, I can't remember. Yeah,
first half,
prediction came Monty was right.
No, he's right-footed. I checked. He's right-footed.
Yeah,
okay,
he's
yeah.
right-footed.
Aaron and disciplinary, mate. Getting
But
fined
it's a
a
really
week's
minor
wages for
thing.
that.
It's a really minor thing, but I just really liked it.
Yeah,
How
I
it
didn't
was
notice
like,
that actually. Yeah.
yeah, because you know what it's like there's some of our players that do it all the time. It's like they just even Auba does it over and over does it. He really tries to make sure he hits it with his right foot.
Yeah.
And I was like, just simple, just you're a professional footballer, just do it. And he just no fuss, no nonsense, open his left foot, bang, goal scored, finished, job done. So yeah, I really like that.
Definitely. And then, we were pretty comfortable, weren't we? And I think there's about 5 minutes to go. And we scored another really, really nice goal. Thomas Partey, who I think between the four of us, we've been quite critical of in recent games. Like you'd say he still merits his place in the team because we don't really have anyone else. So he's clearly our best midfielder, but he's been iffy, hasn't he, with a number of things. Kind of taking players on in the middle of the park, which sort of half the time he seems to come out with the ball and half the time he doesn't and puts us into danger. And then his passing's been, wayward, I guess you could say, or it hasn't been as accurate as it could be. So, and even today, I think we pointed out a couple of times, but the goal from his point of view, or his part in the goal was really, really good. The third goal, he gets the ball on and he half turns the defender, doesn't he? He receives the ball kind of side on and he just does the defender with a little dummy and picks out a perfectly weighted pass, and Laka, runs onto. He doesn't really have to do much, but it's a very, very good finish again. very confident, clinical finish. It was a nice little goal.
Yeah, I think Partey, as you said, I think he typifies just Arsenal, how we've been in the last sort of few months. Like moments of brilliance, can pick out passes and it's playing great, like just like Arsenal, and then other times it's just god awful. Like against on Thursday, it was like passing was all over the place. But yeah, mate, that goal was the way he picked that pass out was such a good ball.
Do you know what he reminds me of a little bit? Do you know like where they say you get we're all South Asian, so we get it right. Before you go to uni, get. I'm telling you, this is going to be one of the better analogies you see on any podcast. But you know how, like, when we're all at school, we're doing like A levels, and your parents are really strict. They don't let you go out anywhere. They don't let you do anything. It's all very strict. And then everyone goes to uni and goes absolutely mental. Yeah, like they just lose their shit, and they're doing all these kinds of things. They've never been like, oh my god, I can talk to people of the opposite sex. I can do all kinds of crazy things. Like.
Mate, my dad listens to this, mate. This never happened to me. I was still that same boy, yeah?
God, we're going to sound like four like 30-something-year-old virgins here. Jesus.
He looks like that. So he looks like under Diego Simeone at Atletico Madrid. He's like, you can't do anything.
Actually, a really good analogy. It's really good.
You can't do anything. Like you can only pass there. You can't take people on. You can't run further than this. You can't. And now he's gone to Arsenal, and he just looks like he's like, oh my god, this is so much fun. I can pass there. I can turn here. I can do all kinds of shit. Like that's what it looks like to me sometimes. He's obviously class, but it's like he's like, I don't care. I'm having a great time.
Yeah, that would explain some of his shooting. To be fair, he's like, he gets the ball and he's just like, I don't care. I'm just going to hit this. I know I'm not great at shooting. I know it's like we're 1-0 down with 2 minutes to go. I am just going to shoot and hope it goes in. Okay, yeah, the analogy paid off, Raj. It was worth it.
It was a good analogy, actually. Well, yeah. So I'm not sure where to go from there. Okay,
let's go clubbing, lads.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to, mate.
nothing changes there.
So yeah, I guess. Well, yeah, we were just talking about the goal, weren't we? So yeah, it was a nice way to finish off the game. One thing that kind of is, I don't want to. We won today, right? So I don't want us to be whinging, or one of us to be whinging, or all of us to be whinging and complaining. But one thing that did kind of grate with me a little bit was the subs or lack of. We've got a massive game on Thursday. It goes. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm trying to remember exactly when the subs happened. Obviously, Saka had to come off, so that was an enforced one anyway. Martinelli was saying, I think should have come off a bit earlier than he did. Okay, he scored, but you know, if he's now out for a period of time, it just doesn't make sense why he carried on for as long as he did.
83rd minute and 89th minute.
Okay, right, yeah. So we scored. Was that just before the lack of goal then? And then yeah. Okay.
So we
scored 85th. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, we scored 85th. So maybe there wasn't. Excuse me. Maybe the ball didn't go out of play from the time. Well, obviously it did because they had to restart. But you know, maybe there was a period of time where the ball didn't go out of play and they were trying to make a sub. But even so, it just, you know, when you've got a game on Thursday, and we were talking about this in the last episode about, you know, if there's any 50-50 players or if there's any players who are slightly tired, you know, let's not. Hopefully he doesn't risk them. It was a bit difficult today because we had quite a few more players out than we would have liked, so options were limited. But just I don't know, it baffles me a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah, I know I've said this quite strongly in the past couple of episodes, but we've got nothing to play for in the league.
Here last episode, you jackass.
The one before that.
He was out clubbing.
Mate, keeping the dealer, mate. But like for me, like all our eggs should be in the Europa League basket. That is our priority. The the mid game here, Sheffield United, bottom of the league, should be the one where you do sort of rotate players. I understood from my point of view, sometimes if players are out of form, like Lacazette, like he didn't play well last game, so playing him today and getting that couple of goals is going to do, you know, the world of confidence for him. That's great. But people like Saka, again, he would have been someone, and I'm not just saying this because of the injury now, but I wouldn't have wanted to play him 3 times in the space of a week. Someone like him, I would have sort of wrapped in cotton wool. He's been sort of 50-50 in the past. I wouldn't have risked him today, personally. So I was a bit, when I saw his name on the team sheet, I was like, I hope we just come out of this game without any injuries. Is probably more important for me than the result itself. So I was quite, sort of pissed off that, you know, hopefully Saka's back for Thursday, but we're not fighting for anything in the league. So I don't know. We should have either used this for rotation or use players who can. Like Martinelli, I think that's a good time to play him, which I agree with, and Lacazette as well. But Saka, no, I would have definitely not played him today.
I would, it's hard, isn't it? Like I would tend to agree just from the perspective that now, given something did happen to Saka, we have 6 first team players injured, and 3 of those are people who can play the number 10 role. Now ESR's injured, Odegaard's injured. If Saka's injured, that's those 3 who play that number 10. So I know in hindsight, I would agree, Nero, and think, you know, it is in the Europa League basket. I think with players like Laka, it's important to get him back into form, so that's good. But let's just hope that Saka isn't a big injury, right?
Yeah. I think it's a hard one, right? Because if we had dropped points today, I think the pressure on us going into the next game would have been even bigger. And I just think winning today, putting a performance together, helps just not take the pressure off, because Thursday is still, like you said, Nero, Thursday is still our season. But the momentum is there. It just helps bring confidence. Like Lacazette's got a bit of form, Pepe's got a bit of form, Saka's got the form. And, you know, we took a gamble and I just hoped someone wouldn't get injured, and you know, with Saka it didn't pay off. But I think, like you said, if we didn't have if we had the players to rotate into, like, arguably today would have been a better game than Thursday to start Willian, for example.
On the right side, Willian.
Maybe Willian could have found some form, right?
But Saka didn't have to play. We could have played Willian. We could have even we had Nelson on the bench. You know, he hasn't played all season. Could have given him a go.
It's one of those, right? Hindsight is a wonderful thing. If Saka doesn't get injured, scores 2 goals today, you probably think, good choice, good reason, good decision to play him. But yeah, it just didn't work out that way. Let's hope it's not too serious.
But he's still coming back from an injury, and to expect 3 games in the space of a week for Saka is still asking a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, he's just coming back from an injury, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And it's interesting what you said, Nero, about, and we've talked about this again, like, you know, how do we prioritize? How do we balance between 2 competitions? And the league, obviously, kind of, as we fell away in the league, the priority automatically became the Europa League. But it's quite funny because obviously Leicester prioritized the Premier League, went out of the Europa League quite an early stage, and now they're potentially struggling to finish in the top 4. So it's, like Aaron has said, hindsight's a great thing, but they're only 2 points, or Chelsea are only 2 points behind them in 5th. So
And not to focus too much on Leicester or like any other teams, but they've gone from a team which had everything going right to almost everything going wrong, like to the point where because like one of the criticisms about Rodgers even at his Liverpool tenure was that he was unable to manage kind of the midweek European fixtures, and seemingly that he kind of came a bit unstuck this season. But they went from just being able to rotate their squad well to rotate it horribly. And not only that, but they've got all kinds of disciplinary issues in that squad. The 3 players left out today again for disciplinary reasons. Anyway, but so I digress.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting thing about how in football things can turn so quickly, can't they?
Yeah. One other thing that I guess we haven't touched on in regards to today's game, we knew about this a couple of days ago, didn't we? That Aubameyang wasn't going to make the trip. They put it down to flu. I don't know if I said it on the pod or in our WhatsApp, but I did say to you guys, I think there's something going on there with Aubameyang since the North London derby, him being dropped for that game, and since then he's been in and out of the team, and he's not been playing centrally really, and he's been getting subbed off and didn't start the other day. So I think I said to you guys, I think there's something going on, and then the fact that they've used flu as the reason for why he didn't travel. What do you guys think? Am I being?
I've seen the theories online about it being something more sinister, but honestly, I think if it was, Arteta would just say he's been dropped for disciplinary reasons. I mean, Arteta dropped Aubameyang for being late right before North London derby and was very upfront about it. I don't think if there's something going on, they would make up some nonsense excuse of flu. I think they'd rather just say he's injured, for example. So
yeah.
I know Jack. I think James from Gunnerblog also tweeted that Xhaka was ill a few weeks ago. Maybe there's something going around in the training ground. I am still fairly confident that Aubameyang starts on Thursday.
Yeah, I think the baffling thing about it was just them saying it was flu, because I'm just intrigued as to how they know it's flu anyway.
Can you even get flu nowadays?
But there you go. But there you go, man. I mean, I think that's what everyone says. I think everyone's going well, obviously it's not flu. No one gets flu. What are you talking about? But so again, I'm just baffled as to why they would come out and say flu. Couldn't they just said he's ill
or just injured? Just say he's
yeah. I guess. Yeah. But I think it's the thing that also makes me think that it perhaps isn't anything more sinister is I think Auba actually. I read this on Twitter. I think on Instagram he actually said something, and he said, "Disappointed to be sick, but hopefully be back for Thursday or something."
Okay.
So he
did he? Okay.
Yeah, so something like that. I'm pretty sure I saw that. So yeah, I wonder if it was just like one of those. Poor choice of words.
Gutted I can't be out there with the team tonight, but hopefully back healthy on Thursday.
Okay, that's good. Fine.
You guys are taking things too literally, I think, to be honest.
As long as he hasn't.
I'm a much more what's the word? I'm much more of a cynic.
But do you think, Mike?
He didn't like unfollow Arsenal or anything during that.
Started following FC Barcelona.
Yeah. But why would he say that, Mike? I guess why would Auba say that if there was something more dodgy going on?
Because it just makes him look like. What do you mean? As in, why would he say that? He's going to tweet something, right?
No. But
during the goals, did he tweet anything during the goals itself?
No, he's sneezing.
Yeah, it should be a bad thing. No, I honestly think this all comes from that nonsense when Gary Neville was on Monday Night Football and created this story about there being a clique against. What he said, there's a clique at Arsenal and they're against the manager. No, they're just inconsistent, poor players sometimes. They can play really badly. Just because they're playing badly doesn't mean that they're all of a sudden, complicit in plotting against the manager. And I think people are so desperate for a story when there's been no real evidence except for the fact that we know that Auba was late for the game against Spurs and he was dropped. The next game he was back in the team. I think he scored. So I'm not remotely worried about some conspiracy theory, which is what I think it is at this stage.
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess it leads us nicely.
I could be wrong, though. Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was going to say it leads us nicely onto the game on Thursday. Excuse me. Sorry. We'll see if he starts, but yeah, we've mentioned it a few times during this episode, how massive of a game that is. Pretty much our whole season hinges on this game now, and us having to go to Prague and get a result, get some goals. Probably going to need more than one. Well, we'll see. But what are your thoughts? We've got just finished this game Sunday night. We've got a few days news on injuries to come, I guess, especially some key ones like Saka, Ødegaard. But what are your thoughts at the moment leading up to that game against Prague?
I'm a bit more optimistic after watching us play today, put it that way. But I don't think they'll be as bad as Sheffield United were today. But I said on Thursday that actually the scoreline itself isn't too bad. And the one reason is because I think it makes it very clear what we have to go and do on Thursday, and that's score at least one, most probably two. And if, for example, we'd gone in with a 1-0 lead, we'd be debating here today, should we play it safe? Should we sit back? Should we not sit back? But it's very clear we have to play an attacking lineup. 0-0 puts us out. We have to score. And if we score 2, then they have to score 3. And if we score 2, we probably go through, barring a defensive disaster. So it's clear what we have to do. We have to play an attacking lineup. And hopefully we'll play our strongest front 3, front 4 that we have available. And we go out aggressively. If we start that game like we did today in the first 20, 30 minutes, I will hope, I'd be fairly confident that we do go through.
Yeah, I think the clean sheet today I think that's quite important that we kept a clean sheet today. I think just to get it out of their, get it out of their heads that they're going to be conceding every game. And I think, completely agree. I think we should just go for it. They won't be as bad as Sheffield United were today, but we're still much better than them on paper, and we've definitely got more quality than they do, even with injuries. So if I was Arteta, I'd just take the handbrake off from the first minute and just absolutely just try and get a few goals. It's good that we got a few goals today. Just a bit of confidence in the team.
Are you guys confident? Because you both said just now that you're pretty confident that we should go there and get a result, get a win. If we don't have, let's just say Saka, Iyasar, and Ødegaard are all injured. Let's say Aubameyang's not back as well, and potentially Martinelli, played the rest, carried on playing, but you just don't know really. If we say those 4 players are out, Aubameyang, Ødegaard, Smith Rowe, and Saka, do you still go into the game with the same confidence?
I don't go in with the same confidence. If you take all those players out, it's a lot of players, but if you still draw up the hypothetical lineup, it's still a lineup that's good enough to beat Prague, surely. I really, so I think that's number one. 2, I think, what Arteta, I hope, has learned from the last 2 games is that I think he can't meticulously try and plan that game. If he goes and he tries to meticulously plan how we're going to beat the 1-1 kind of existing result, I think it'll be all wrong. And I think he needs to look at today and he needs to go, well, do you know what? Actually, we can be quite good. And actually, I don't think Prague will be used to facing that kind of pace if we really, take that handbrake off. So even if those players are injured, Miles, I would hope that Lacazette, Willian, Pepe, Ceballos, Partey, whatever.
So will Ceballos be your guy in the whole then? In that hypothetical situation, you have Lacazette, Willian, Pepe, and then who's the whole? That's the missing piece. Is that Ceballos, you think?
What was quite nice for me today, I don't know about, but what was quite nice for me today was it felt like they were really fluid, and it felt like there wasn't any one person who was playing in that. It was Saka for a while, Ceballos was there, it was kind of, so, I hope we could probably just do something like that, and maybe it's too much to just rely on Ceballos to be the number 10, but to be honest, I just think he needs to look at what happened today and just go, that's my best bet of winning this game.
Yeah, I mean, if we did line up with a front 4 of Willian, Lacazette, and Pepe and Ceballos, I would be considerably less confident that way.
But again, that team, you should still be able to beat the team that they're ahead of us, right? There's no excuses. Having those injuries,
they should, but that is a really bad front 4. Not really bad, but
2 of them
that is so far away from our strongest front 4.
That's a bit harsh. A really bad front.
It's not that bad.
Not really bad, but okay. Pepe,
70 million Pepe, Lacazette 50. One's on loan from Real Madrid, and then he's on Willian.
Yeah, on paper, fine, and maybe you can argue they should be better. But if that front 4 rock up on starting on Thursday, I honestly think I would probably.
But I don't think if we get knocked out, we cannot use injuries as an excuse. I don't think if we get knocked
No,
out
we
in the
can.
group.
Of course we can.
No,
I don't know, mate.
What do you
I
mean?
don't
Why
think
can't we
so.
win?
Not with the
What do you mean?
quality.
Oh,
No.
compared to the
Not with the
opposition.
quad-
Yeah, fine.
Yeah,
Obviously, that's what I mean. Yeah, and compared
yeah.
to who we're playing,
Yeah.
like not playing Liverpool, are we?
Yeah.
We're playing Slavia Prague.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
And excuse me, sorry, I've definitely got something in my throat today. I was going to ask as well.
The flu's going round me.
Sorry, boys, I'm not going to be here on Thursday.
Have you been clubbing? Have you been clubbing, mate? Is that where you got it?
Clubbing with Auba.
Clubbing with Auba.
And the Leicester players as well. I was just going to ask. Obviously, he had this. He tried this experiment. Well, not experiment, but he put Saka in at left back today. And I guess we're quite a bit more balanced, having a left footer on the left hand side. And he does like to have Arteta. He does like to have, the centre back pairings. He likes to have a left footer and a right footer. Sounds like, or seems like, he didn't fancy anyone else at left back, Suarez. So he's gone. He went with Xhaka today. Do you think he might try that again on Thursday, Xhaka at left back, or do you think Suarez comes back in?
I think he might try it because he did say in his interview, he basically made a comment saying, there are things I like about him in that position. There's some things that I want him to work on. And it's kind of like, all right, you're actually planning about this, right? You're thinking about developing him in some way. Who knows? Maybe Xhaka will become like our James Milner figure. Who knows?
He has played left back before pre-Arteta as well, right? I think under Emery he might have played left back, or even under Wenger.
It was like really desperate times though. Like I think everyone was injured, but he didn't really get tested today, right?
No, this is a worry. I think
against today's team, yeah.
Prague have got some decent, tricky wingers. I think, and Sheffield United have what's his name, McBurney or something.
The disrespect. The disrespect. My goodness.
No, not McBurney. Sorry, George Baldock and Ben Osborne. So
You had to Google
it. Osborne is nothing like the name you just said.
No, McBurney's. I don't know. My knowledge of Sheffield United players is not good. But
Aldrich,
yeah. Should I just make up a Sheffield
No,
United
I think
team?
they have got someone called McBurney as well, don't they?
Yeah, they have. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
He's the guy who came on.
We sound so out of order.
God,
The disrespect.
Oh man, we're
Yeah.
10th.
So, yeah, exactly. We only look at the top half now.
Until next week. Yeah. Oh god. Okay. So yeah, it's like we just talked about, right? There's the lineup that we put out on Thursday. Sorry, could be one of two different teams. So let's see what happens with the injury news over the next few days. But let's assume we get a couple of players back. I like to think ESR and Odegaard were kind of semi-injured, semi-rested today. He just didn't risk them in preparation for Thursday, but we don't know. Let's see what happens. But let's just see, or let's see what you guys think really in terms of how you think the game's going to go and scoreline. So Nero, how do you think we're going to do?
I hope we win.
That's good.
Let's get that out of the way.
No, I'll be like, what I mean is, like, I'll be so disappointed if we don't win this game. Like, I can see
all of us will be, mate.
it's like we've got a good chance of winning the actual thing now. So because we've got a good pathway to the final. There's no excuses. I'm going to go for maybe a draw in the night, but with no rules. So like a 2-2 score draw.
Oh, okay.
And
Sorry.
2-2 score draw, and then
1-1.
Yeah. Oh,
Away
right.
goes.
Penalties. Yeah, away goes.
Okay, Raj.
I'm going to go Arsenal win 3-1. I can't bring myself to just predict anything other than us going through because it's just too demoralizing to think of.
That's what
It's
I
our
mean,
season
right?
over, right? I'm going to go 3-1.
Aaron.
I will go 2-1 on the night, so 3-1.
Okay,
Overall.
so predict 2 wins. I'm gonna go
3-2 overall. Sorry, not 3-1. Terrible maths.
2-1
on the night. 3-2.
3-2.
Yeah.
What if McBurney plays?
Then we're out, mate.
I'm gonna go. Oh God. I'm gonna go 1-1. I think I did this for one of the other legs as well. I said we'd go
Yeah,
through
you
an away
did.
goal. So yeah, one of the other ties. So
yeah.
I'd say 1-1 and we get through extra time penalties. Yeah. Not sure which one, but yeah, I'll go for 1-1. Oh, and we get through.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Again, as always, really good chat. Thanks again to everyone who's tuned in, and thanks for supporting the channel. And we will see you after the Prague game on Thursday. Fingers crossed for a good result in a massive game. Nice one, boys. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks.
Yeah, bye.
See you later.